I'm John, and tonight I want answers about Hurricane Irene and making cell phone calls at BART stations. There's no stopping us now because we're live. Check your calendar. If it says September 1st, 2011, then we're live. Tonight, in the studio, we've got Hello Dali, John, Dave, and Andy, and they'll be playing for us all night long. They're a great band, originally from New York, and then moved out here or something like that. We'll talk about that later.
Were you escaping the law?
They're not mic'd up, so you can't hear them. Okay, so last month we had Casey Henny on the piano, and then during rehearsals I announced him. During the show I did not, so I'm announcing him now. Last month, Casey on the piano. My guest tonight is Keith Stattenfield. He's the host of Keith Explains, also on this network, on this station.
It's not a network.
I keep messing that up.
Yeah.
He's my expert. He's a news junkie, a history buff, philosophy major, and he wears brand new shoelaces. So, when you buy your shoes, you get new laces with it, right?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Separate from the shoe.
No, actually, these are the original laces still.
Oh, well, you changed your
But
ways.
the shoes are only a week old, so I haven't had time.
So here's what people are telling me about you on my show. They say you're funny, and they say you're knowledgeable, but they say that you tend to ramble on sometimes.
Yes, on purpose.
And
Mission
then
accomplished.
I found out this was a plan all along.
Yes.
I uncovered some vintage Keith Explains footage where you talk about this.
Yeah, it's from the 40s, I think.
Let's see the tape.
I don't think John's going to be on the television much because, again, it's John Wants Answers, right? John's going to ask a question, and then the director's going to cut to me, and I'm going to talk for as long as I can. And if you've watched this show, I think you know I can talk a long time. I think, here's my prediction about the first John Wants Answers. The TV's going to come up, and we're doing it live, okay? So I can do anything on TV, and they can't fix it later. So the TV's going to come up, and there's going to be John, and I assume me sitting there, and John's going to say, "Hi, welcome to John Wants Answers. Keith, good to see you here tonight. How are you?" And then it's going to be 28 minutes and 15 seconds of me talking. Because I can stretch "How are you doing tonight" into 28 minutes and 15 seconds without a problem. I will just never leave a time to cut back. I mean, I will see John trying to cut in, like, yes, and I'll just keep going. I'm just going to keep going. It's going to...
And that was you before our first episode.
Yes, I was.
So you all along had the plan.
Well, it's not so much a
me.
plan as a prediction.
Ah, I see. If you've never seen the show before, it's like a courtroom drama.
It's not.
So I'm the prosecutor.
He's not.
My guest is the expert witness.
I am.
And you at home and in the audience are the jury. And it's your job to vote to acquit or convict the topics.
What if they're a hung jury? Do we do the show again?
Then we'll discuss it. It'll be a retrial. I'll have the topic again next month.
Wow.
Yeah.
Has that ever happened?
Well, in fact, I want to talk to you again about getting old. We talked about getting old last episode.
And we did
And
get old.
you told me what to expect. Today I had a physical
Yes.
with my doctor.
And?
So I'm in great condition.
Of course
He
you
says my body, well, not quite the 18-year-old body, but he says my body is less than my chronological age. So
That's
the way he
fabulous.
was talking, I'm a 30-year-old by the way he was talking.
Yeah?
Now, here's something you failed to mention and what to expect.
That turn your head and cough?
During the physical, they get more invasive as you get older.
Yes, they do. They
So,
do.
important thing to notice.
There are things you didn't know you needed to have checked until he decided to check them.
That's all I want to say about that.
Yeah. We didn't want to ruin your youth by mentioning that.
We might be an award-winning show.
We might be. We're not. But we
the
might be.
Wave Awards are coming up October 8th. I submitted 4 shows
4 shows.
4 shows for Wave Awards. October 8th are being announced. They might have already been decided. I might already be an award winner.
You might already be an award winner.
So I know our director, Loretta, she's won awards for the shows she worked on.
She has. Her show's good.
So tell me, do they let me know before the ceremony if I've won or not?
It depends on how ticket sales are going.
Oh.
If ticket sales are not great, then they call the winners and tell them, hey, you might want to come to the show and buy a ticket, to pump up the meal sales. But whereas if ticket sales are doing great, they won't call you beforehand.
So I really should buy a ticket.
Or convince people to not go so that they have to call you beforehand. Because you'd hate to pay, $45 for bad chicken and then not win.
I heard it's great chicken. It's $25 to go. So if you want to see me win live, you can come to the Wave Awards. And it's always an exotic location on the West Coast.
Yes, San Jose in this case.
This year, San Jose.
Yeah.
So I'll be driving 3 miles.
Do you think the On the Move people will be going?
I hope so. No one said anything about that yet. Maybe we can carpool. You going? Have you submitted your shows?
I do not submit my show to the awards after the disastrous first attempt.
Okay. We'll be taking your tweets.
We're taking them now, actually.
You can tweet us, and we'll be receiving them, and then we'll talk about them later in the show. But tweet us at John Wants Answer.
Yes.
There's no S on the end, because the last S that used to be there was taken off, because it was for suck. Other 2 S's are for super and superb, so we left them in there.
There's only one other S.
No, there's an S in answer, and there's an S at the once.
Oh, I didn't count that other one.
Okay, well. We're having a Twitter contest. The first person to tweet in saying they want a headshot gets an autographed headshot from me. Now, you're not eligible if you've won one before, or if I've given you one before.
Not the JFK type of headshot.
No, not that kind at all. You are terrible. While you're on the internet, why not go to johnwantsanswers.com? There you can see our previous shows. You can see pictures of us and bios of us, and click and see the live internet stream, and you can get T-shirts and stuff.
Can you buy a mug?
Yes, buy a mug.
Wow.
It's time for our reviews. Now, for a long time, we had our one review from Scott Castor.
Our one review.
He said, this might be the best TV show I've ever seen.
Yes, he did say that. I heard
and you always focused on the might part.
Yes, because that's the critical word in understanding the veracity of that particular statement.
We have a new one, a new review.
Okay.
Best, period, show, period, ever, period, from Snaggy, a somewhat celebrity.
She is a somewhat celebrity. He. Snaggy is a he.
Yeah, I always get mixed up too.
They got code names. Yeah.
Code names.
Yeah.
They're from a small town, British Columbia.
Yeah, I know.
As am I.
They do the small town.
They do the best of the
Joy of Tech. The Joy of Tech.
Online cartoon about tech.
Yeah.
So check it out. It's pretty funny.
We should get them to make us characters in those little Joy of Techs.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, it would last about 3 days, and then someone would find out, and they'd fire us.
Do they offer
You can pay them.
Product placement? I can pay them, and they'll feature.
You can pay them. They'll draw a picture of you.
Well,
I've got some of her artwork on my wall.
Oh,
yeah,
that's cool. So it's time to talk about the elephant in the room.
There's an elephant?
So if I had more budget, I would get an elephant costume. And the guy who goes in the otter costume, I get him to go in the elephant costume.
There's a guy in the otter costume?
Yeah.
It wasn't a big otter?
No.
You lied to me.
Our first topic, the elephant in the room. By elephant in the room, I mean Steve Jobs resigned from Apple.
Who?
Exactly. Now, see, we work at Apple, and as such, we choose not to talk about Apple or even mention that we work at Apple. But this is
because we like to work at Apple.
Yes, but this is big news, and I feel we can't just let it go by without mentioning it.
We could.
We're just going to state the facts. No discussion. Stick to the facts, man.
Stick to the facts. Just the facts.
Steve Jobs resigned from Apple.
That's what I heard.
He hasn't gone from Apple.
No, he's not gone. He's an employee.
He was elected chairman of the board.
And he was an employee and a director.
Who was the chairman of the board before Steve Jobs got elected?
No one. We didn't have a chairman.
Oh, we didn't.
No.
What are the duties of the chairman, and do they have any additional powers?
Chairman of the board often have additional powers. In theory, they run the meeting. Mm-hmm. So they say, I'm going to call this meeting of the board to order. And then they say things like, I see a quorum is present. And then they say, Is there a motion to adjourn?
So they just like run the meeting. They don't have special powers to fire all the directors or whatever.
No. But I'm pretty sure if he wanted to fire us, he would know who to call.
So he's a director on the board.
Yes.
Was he always a director on the board of directors?
Well, not always.
I mean, in the last, let's say, 10 years?
Yes.
Okay. Who's the new CEO?
Tim Cook.
How long has he been at Apple?
Like 12 or 13 years.
He's
a fabulous guy, by the way. He's a fabulous guy.
He's done a good job so far. Has he been CEO of Apple before?
He's been interim CEO before.
Oh, a few times.
Which I guess vaguely counts.
Yes. So, all right. Our next topic.
Was I supposed to see an elephant, by the way?
Hurricane Irene. All right. So, hurricane came through, made a bunch of mess on the East Coast.
It killed a bunch of people.
45 or something like that?
Lazy people, not good at treading water, apparently.
Oof. Okay. So, who names all these hurricanes?
It's some meteorological nitwits.
Nitwits?
Yeah. They make a big list of names, and they rotate through it every couple of years.
Okay.
It's like always the same names.
Oh, so they have these planned out ahead of time?
Yeah, they're planned out ahead of time.
Are they always girl names?
No. Now they're girl and boy names.
Oh.
And in some cases, androgynous names.
Oh. What's an androgynous
like
hurricane
Chris.
name? Okay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Have they ever run out of names? Like,
they have run out of names before.
what happens if there's more than 26, I guess,
Well, they don't always use all.
hurricanes?
They don't use. Well, they only use a name when a storm moves from a tropical depression to a tropical storm,
Okay.
which in the average year happens about 15-ish times. So they often don't run out of names because they don't use all the letters, but they use most of them.
But they have in the past?
But in the past they have, and lately when they run out of names, they just start naming them after Greek letters of the alphabet.
Oh,
I don't think they've ever run out of names plus Greek letters.
okay. How many Greek letters are there?
Well, I think there are like 22 Greek letters.
Okay. We just had Hurricane Irene.
Hurricane Irene.
Now I've heard there's reports of Storm Katia.
Yes.
So what happened to Hurricane or Storm J?
It was tiny.
Who's it named after?
I don't know. J somebody. Jose.
Jose.
See it, and then for like 4 years from now, there'll be another Jose.
6 years from now.
6 years. Okay, like 6 years. Until some storm named Jose does a whole bunch of damage, and then they retire it, like they do with Brett Favre's number.
So, for example, the new storm is Katia. That would have been named Katrina.
It would have been. It would have been.
Katrina is very famous for doing bad
very
stuff.
bad.
So retire the name so you don't get confused. Like, Katrina's coming again.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Yeah. There was a Keith was a name that was used.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I have a clipping from a newspaper somewhere that says Keith loses potency because it had been a kind of strong storm, but it petered out before it did a lot of damage. So it's still in the list.
How do they find names for like Q, X, and Z?
I think they skip those because they're too hard.
So they don't have 26. They have like
Yeah, they have
24,
like 23
23.
or something.
So Gerber, I went to the Gerber website looking for
Like
names.
Gerber the baby people?
Yeah.
Wow.
Looking for names of babies that start with
buy any
X.
life
or
insurance
names
while
of
you were
people.
there?
No. The only X names they have are like names you've never heard before.
No, because X is not a popular
I know.
letter.
They sound like all Greek names.
Xavier.
if you ask me.
Xavier. That's not
I didn't
an
even get to that.
unpopular name.
They had 41 X names.
And none of them
Bizarre. All of them bizarre.
Wow.
Like characters from Disney movies of like far off people. Where do hurricanes come from?
God. Okay, the ocean.
Okay. A particular area of the ocean?
Well, they have them all. Well, they're really tropical storms and then stronger and stronger tropical storms. We happen to call them hurricanes if they form in the Atlantic. And we call them typhoons if they form in the Pacific. And if you're in the Indian Ocean, they call them something else whose name I don't recall. I think in English languages, you still call them typhoons. But if you live there, they have a different name for them, which is probably,
Look out, the storm is coming.
Yeah, look out, the effing storm is coming kind of thing. Because if you're in Bangladesh, those typhoons just destroy your house every third year. So you've got some nasty names for them.
All right.